Welcome to my B&B Today's Show channel. I hope today fantastic for everyone. Please hit the subscribes button and give this video thumbs up. The dramatic father-son moment between Liam and Bill. In a dramatic father-son scene, the bold and the beautiful reveals that Liam Spencer and Bill Spencer will let their feelings out. Liam just sent a text message asking Bill to meet him at Il Giardino, so Bill texted back that he'd love to come. That already sounds promising since Bill stormed out on Liam after their last confrontation. Now that Bill's had some time to cool off, he may hope he can find some common ground with Liam. Of course, knowing Bill as well as we do, he may ask if Liam called this meeting to apologize. Bill might get smug and wonder if his predictions about Liam crawling back for his job are coming true. However, Liam may admit his decision to walk away from Spencer Publications stands, and that he's been reevaluating his priorities lately. As Liam gets choked up, Bill's probably going to have questions about what's really going on. Although Liam's been resisting John Finnegan and Steffi Forrester's pressure to spill to his loved ones, he may cave in when it comes to Bill. Liam might decide he could really use his dad's support and come clean about the fact that he's dying. Perhaps Liam will tell Bill the story of his collapse, brain bleed, emergency surgery, and the scans that revealed he has an inoperable tumor. B&B fans can expect Bill and Liam to talk about the past, present, and what's left of Liam's future on Monday's show. Things are going to get pretty intense in this conversation, so Liam may confess what he's up against and cause Bill to tear up at the thought of losing him. If Liam does offer updates on his grim medical news, Bill may vow to put all his money and connections to good use. There might be some treatment option out there that Liam's medical team has never even heard of yet. At least that's probably the mindset Bill will have. Now that Steffi is wrapping up her own tough conversation with Hope Logan, she may head home soon enough. Will Luna Nozawa still be there when Steffi returns to the Cliff House? According to the bold and the beautiful spoilers, Luna will soon make more noise regarding Steffi and Finn's marriage. Unintentionally reveals whether Liam actually passed away. There is no going back now. Even if you didn't miss it, in case you didn't bless its repetitious heart, the show devoted a great deal of its airtime this week to reminding us of things that we already knew. Liam has a brain tumor. Steffi's super sad about it. Finn's the bestest. Carter still loves Hope. Deacon feels the urge to karate chop Carter every time he sees him. Because she killed a few innocent people, Luna doesn't like how people treat her. It was very much lather, rinse, repeat, only with extra tears. I did have to laugh though when Carter tried recapping to Daphne, and she spoke for all of us when she huffed in essence, "For the love of Pepe Le Pew I know." But maybe Bold and Beautiful was just trying to dull our senses with all of the repetition so that we wouldn't notice the way that it telegraphed Liam's fate. I'd been assuming that miracle worker Finn would create a magical ice cream scooper that would pluck out Liam's tumor at the 11th hour. But can that still happen now that the soap has trotted out classic Steam and Lope flashbacks? The powers that be can't put us through the emotional ringer that way and then let Liam live, can they? The cheat is on. Plus, Bold and Beautiful delivered the fraught, fantastically acted episode in which Steffi broke it to Hope that their favorite ex-husband wasn't long for this world. Jacqueline McInnes Wood and Annika Noel were so raw in those scenes, you couldn't help but be moved. Even an old cranky pants like me got misty-eyed. So the soap basically told us, yeah, this is for real. He's gonna die. He's got to. If Liam lived now after all this, we'd be like, damn you, Bold and Beautiful. You made us care only to go, Naya, you didn't really need to. Psych. As sorry as I'd be to see Scott Clifton leave the show, I'd feel cheated if Liam didn't go to the grave. The show has pulled this stunt on us too many times before. Remember when it killed Finn and Lee and Sheila? Heck, it was just last year that we spent months bracing ourselves for Eric's demise, and look at him now. He's as right as rain. Doesn't even suffer from ED anymore. Random observations. Shouldn't an ex-con like Deacon be a lot more hesitant to open a can of whoopopus? Wouldn't assaulting someone like he wants to Carter violate his parole? Oh, what am I saying? Theoretically, associating with other cons like his wife Sheila would violate his parole. This is Bold and Beautiful, not Law and Order. Could there be an easier job in the world than that of a Forrester Creations intern? All Will does is make out with Elektra and occasionally ooh and or ah at a bauble. If Daphne wants to seal the deal with Carter, perhaps she should consider not keeping him at arm's length. Ridge not the hottie he used to be. Why are Brooke and Taylor so desperate? The bold and the beautiful fans all seem to agree about this one thing when it comes to Ridge Forrester. And we are not just talking about the way he treats the women in his life. Ridge is losing his looks. Instead, everyone seems to agree that Ridge is losing his looks. A lot fans just can't help but wonder why Brooke Logan and Taylor Hayes seem to be so hung up on someone who looks like he hasn't taken a shower in a very long time, if you know what we mean. Ridge Forrester just isn't the same polished fashion maven that he used to be, and it shows. As our fans can imagine, the internet certainly did have a lot to say about the matter. Some have even commented with, "That's a point I never thought about, but I can see why you think that. I have been watching the first season and Ridge was always immaculate in his grooming, but unfortunately the new version of Ridge isn't assiduous as Ron Moss's depiction. Ridge is conflicted about his loyalty to Ms." a fan wrote. "Achy breaky heart Taylor and his love for his Logan Brooke. Maybe that is why he looks like he just rolled out of the bed wearing the same suit and looking gruff. What's next for Ridge Forrester?" And then there was this comment as well. "Rue, but the Ridge character is supposed to be a model-esque pretty boy type that was irresistible to women. The good acting is irrelevant. TK, while a better actor than Moss, he doesn't fit that role." B&B's creators have so far refrained from commenting on the issue. Watch this space for more. Of course, the bold and the beautiful fans will have to tune in each and every day to find out what will happen next. Watch this space for more. The atmosphere at Il Giardino shimmered with a kind of nervous stillness, as if even the wind was holding its breath, waiting to witness the seismic emotional tremor about to erupt between a father and son long torn between love, pride, and miscommunication. Bill Spencer entered the restaurant with the signature swagger that had built empires and leveled enemies. But this time, beneath the surface of his confident gait, there was a subtle tightness in his jaw, a flicker of uncertainty in his eyes, betraying the truth that for all his bravado, Dollar Bill was walking into this meeting with Liam carrying not just curiosity, but the aching hope that this time, maybe, his son was reaching out for reconciliation, for a bridge over the chasm that had widened since their last bitter clash. The text Liam had sent was simple, almost too casual. "Can you meet me?" Yet Bill's response, "I'd love to," revealed that underneath the bluster, Bill was ready, even eager for a connection. Their last conversation had ended in a storm of angry words and wounded pride, with Bill storming out in frustration over Liam's refusal to return to Spencer Publications, disgusted by what he saw as weakness, flakiness, and the same moral paralysis that had always driven him crazy about his sensitive, soul-searching son. But time, as it so often does, had softened some edges, and though Bill likely told himself he was just going out of curiosity, part of him clung to the idea that maybe Liam had come to his senses, was finally crawling back, maybe even apologizing. When Bill entered the booth next to Liam, the smug anticipation flickered for a moment, but when he really looked into his son's face, it quickly vanished. The shadows under Liam's eyes were darker, the slump in his posture more pronounced, and something about the stillness in his gaze told Bill that this wasn't about business. It wasn't about ego, pride, or even family legacy. It was about something deeper, something raw and heavy and terrible. Liam tried to smile, the familiar half-hearted lift of the lips he used when he was trying to hide the worst of what he was feeling. But Bill saw through it instantly. This wasn't about Spencer Publications. This wasn't about Hope or Steffi. This was about something far more serious, something that had hollowed out Liam's insides and left him a shell of the man Bill knew. And when Liam started to talk, his voice soft, gravelly, choked with unspent emotion, Bill sat back, eyes narrowing, bracing for whatever truth was clawing its way out. "I didn't call you here to talk about the company," Liam said, staring at the table like it held the answer to his agony. "I needed to talk to you because I don't know how much time I have left." The words came like a punch to the chest, so sudden and jarring that Bill literally flinched. For a moment he thought Liam was being melodramatic, that this was about guilt or some metaphor for emotional distance, but then Liam looked up, and the pain in his eyes was undeniable. "I'm dying, Dad." 3 words. Just 3. But they detonated like a bomb, reshaping the air between them, sucking all the oxygen from the room. Liam recounted everything. The collapse, the emergency surgery, the brain bleed that turned into a diagnosis, the tumor the doctors found afterward, inoperable and unrelenting. And Bill, ever the man of action, the fixer, the bulldozer who made problems disappear with power and money, felt helpless for the first time in years. "There has to be something," Bill barked, voice rising as if sheer volume could force the universe to yield. "This is you we're talking about, Liam. You're my son. There's no way I'm letting this happen." But Liam shook his head, calm in the way that only someone who's accepted the end could be. "I've spoken with experts. The best ones. There's nothing they can do. I'm not here to look for solutions, Dad. I just needed to tell you. I needed you to know." And in that moment, the war between Bill's instinct to fight and the dawning realization that this wasn't a battle he could win boiled over. The tough exterior cracked. His jaw trembled, his hands clenched on the table, and then against all the odds, a single tear broke free and slid down his face. For all his power, his wealth, his strategic brilliance, Bill Spencer had never looked so human, so utterly powerless. "You're my son," he said, voice ragged. "You're mine, Liam. I would give everything, everything I've built, everything I own, if it meant saving you. I would die in your place if I could." And Liam, for all his pain, for all the devastation roiling in his gut, managed to smile faintly at the sentiment, because it was the one thing he'd always doubted, that his father really loved him, not just as a namesake or a business heir, but as his child. "I know," Liam whispered. "I know you would." They talked for hours, longer than they had in years, about the past. About the way Bill had tried to mold Liam into someone he wasn't. About the way Liam had always rebelled against his father's dominance. About the resentment and disappointment and love tangled in every argument they'd ever had. Bill admitted his faults, his fear of vulnerability, the way he'd pushed too hard because he didn't know how else to show love. Liam admitted his bitterness, his need for approval, his guilt over never being able to live up to Bill's expectations. It was the kind of conversation that can only take place when there is a short amount of time left, when all of the insignificant issues have been resolved, and when the whole truth has emerged. Both financial and emotional promises were made by Bill. He swore to use every resource, every favor, every connection to find a cure, even if it meant going around the globe. "There's got to be someone somewhere," he said, more to himself than Liam. "I won't stop until I've overturned every rock. And maybe there's some distant hope in that. Maybe this isn't the end. Maybe there's a last-minute miracle waiting in the wings." But Liam didn't look hopeful. He looked like a man saying goodbye. And that terrified Bill more than anything. Back at the Cliff House, Steffi had just endured her own storm, confessing Liam's condition to Hope in a scene so raw and layered that it had even the audience reeling. Hope and Steffi, forever rivals, forever bound by Liam, found themselves united in grief, both women devastated not just by the loss of a man they loved, but by the cruel way life had reminded them how little control they really had. Jacqueline MacInnes Wood and Annika Noel had poured themselves into those scenes, their performances gut-wrenching, validating the emotional weight of the storyline and making Liam's fate feel devastatingly real. Even viewers who'd grown cynical over the years, hardened by fake deaths and soap opera resurrections, couldn't help but be pulled into the sincerity of it all. It felt real. It hurt. And now, with this father-son scene anchoring the week's emotional center, the weight of the narrative landed fully. This wasn't just a health crisis. This was a punishment. Luna, still lingering in the background of Steffi and Finn's world, was poised to cause more drama, possibly even accidentally revealing Liam's diagnosis to someone she shouldn't, setting in motion a new set of consequences that would echo throughout the Forrester and Spencer clans. But for now, all of that faded into the periphery. At Il Giardino, the world had narrowed to a small booth where a titan of industry sat across from his dying son, and for the first time, no money, no manipulation, no spin could fix it. Still, Liam attempted to bring peace. "I'm not afraid to die," he said. I'm afraid of what I'll leave behind, of how it'll affect Kelly, Beth, you, Steffi, Hope." Bill reached across the table, clasped Liam's hand in his own, and for once words failed them. There was nothing left to say. Only silence. Only love. Additionally, there just might be a glimmer of remorse in the wreckage of everything that had been destroyed between them. Whether or not Liam ultimately dies, whether or not the writers pull a last-minute reversal or deliver the final blow, The Bold and the Beautiful has done something rare. It has crafted a moment that doesn't just tug at heartstrings. It anchors them, reminding viewers why they've stuck with these characters for so long. In an era of recycled plots and predictable twists, this father-son scene didn't feel manufactured. It felt legitimate, real, honest. And if it's goodbye, then at least it's a beautiful, shattering one.